Don't mind the sweater, everybody. This New York weather's all over the place. So from one day I'm wearing a t-shirt and the next day I'm in a sweater. I can't figure it out. The weather can't figure it out. But nonetheless, welcome back to the channel, everybody, here at Rooted and Rebuilt Health. Today we're going to be talking about bulking versus cutting. The one big theme that is in the entire health world. It's either you're going and you're bulking, you're cutting, or you're just staying at maintenance. Maintenance is just staying at the same place that you're weighing at the current moment. Now, the way that you stay at maintenance is that when you have a caloric value, once you figure out that number, if you eat that amount of calories every single day, you are going to maintain the same weight. Doesn't matter. Now, if you're eating low quality foods or bad foods in that sense, then how your body's going to look is going to be determined about the quality and the types of food you're eating. So if you're eating 2,000 calories worth of, fast food, or 2,000 calories worth of sweets and donuts and cookies and everything like that, you're not going to gain crazy weight, but you're also not going to look the greatest as well. So take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But the main meat and potatoes of this conversation is bulking versus cutting. So what is a bulk? What is a cut? Bulking is what everyone loves to do. That's basically you're eating more than your caloric value in order to put on weight, to put on mass, to put on muscle. So there's different phases when it comes to weight training and everything of that regard in nature. When you're in a bulk, you heard me earlier talking about caloric value. In the process of bulking, you take your caloric value and you up it by about 2 to anywhere 500 calories, and you eat that consistently with heavy training. What that is going to allow you to do is that it's going to allow you to put on mass, but also put on more muscle as well, so that you can technically blow up in the sense, and your arms can get bigger, your chest can get bigger. It's the phase that everyone goes to when they want to grow in size. So a lot of times you hear people like, oh, I'm on a bulk, I'm on a bulk, I'm on a bulk. That just means that they're eating more than what they should be in a day-to-day diet, which, as long as it's under control and it's properly monitored. Sorry, that's the word. I just blanked out for a second. As long as it's properly monitored, eating in a bulk is perfectly fine. Now, you will gain weight during this process, but that is all the point. And like I've told you guys before, weight is a numbers game. So when you really know what you're doing and you really know how to eat what you're talking about, you can go and start playing games with your body, for quote unquote, and go bulk for 6 weeks and then cut for like another 4 weeks so that you can get the body that you want. Now, there's a whole process to this. You go and you usually bulk, like I said, for about 6 to 8 weeks. You go and you're eating consistently at a higher caloric intake. You're gonna put on weight. During a bulk, everyone has fun because they can kind of eat the way that they want and not feel bad about it, because there's a goal in mind, and whatever puts on more mass it's fair game to them. There's also such thing as clean bulking versus dirty bulking. Most people dirty bulk. What that is that since they want to get those extra calories in, they'll have their sweets uncontrolled. They'll have their cookies. They'll have fast food. They'll have all the foods that they know they shouldn't be eating. They'll still have them because they're in a phase to where they're trying to put on mass. Now, the clean way of bulking, you still put on mass, you still put on weight, but now it doesn't look as sloppy, and it's not going to be as hard when you get into your cutting phase. Now, that brings me to the next point, your cutting phase. What is the cutting phase? The cutting phase is when you start to cut weight now. You're starting to eat lower than your caloric deficit. So we're going back to that idea of your calorie deficit. Whether it's 2,000 calories, now you want to go and start cutting weight so that you can go and show and define the muscles that you have now just been building in this 6 to 8 week process. So all of that excess body fat, all of that excess weight, you're going to start to trim it down and bring it down so that now the muscle that you've already built underneath the surface can now show, pop out, and look a whole lot better. Now, the way that you cut is that you go and you eat less than your calories is concerned. So if you're at 2,000 calories, you want to be anywhere from 1,800 to about 1,500 calories, 1,700 calories, whatever the case may be, and eat like that consistently so that you can start to bring the weight down. Now, you keep the intensity of your workouts the same. You don't change that. Just because you're in a cut doesn't mean, oh, since I'm eating less or I'm not eating the same amount of food, then I'm going to kind of dial it back because I don't want to be lethargic. I don't want to get myself hurt. No, you still work out with the same intensity, but now you're just taking in less food so that you're technically in a semi-fasted state. When you're in a cut, you're eating, but you're always a little bit hungry. That's the discipline in it. And what that's going to do is that it's going to allow for you to get those cuts. It's going to allow for you to get those curves for the women. Cutting is very, very difficult for most people because you have to be very, very strategic with how you're eating, the foods that you're eating. Most people, when they're in a bulk, they can eat pretty much anything that they want. Eggs, you're eating the egg yolk and everything. Instead of having chicken breast, you're having chicken thighs. Foods that have a little bit more fat on them so that you can get those extra calories in, you can put on that extra size. Now, when you're in a cut, you're going to be eating a lot more leaner food. So you're going to be eating chicken breast, you're going to be eating cottage cheese, you're going to be eating a lot of egg whites to supplement for all of those extra calories. To make a cut possible and sustainable, I should say, you still want to eat a good portion of food, a high amount of food, but less calories. So if you go and you eat 3 whole eggs at 60 calories each, 90 calories if you have jumbo eggs, that's already 270 calories, versus if you go and you're just eating, let's say, a cup and a half of some egg whites, you're having maybe half of the calories with the same amount of protein. So you're hitting your macros a lot easier. And that's another portion of cutting that we're going to get into in another video, that cutting is very macro sensitive. You need to be eating the exact amount of protein, the exact amount of fats, the exact amount of carbs, the exact amount of calories that you should be taking in, because that is going to determine how your body looks, and it's going to determine how defined everything is going to look at the end of it. Now, the cutting phase is usually a little bit shorter than the bulking phase, just for the simple fact that you're a little bit less energy. And it's not something that is sustainable forever. You don't want to be cutting forever and you don't want to be bulking forever. Or I should do it opposite. You don't want to be bulking forever and you don't want to be cutting forever. So that's why people just find an area or a body type or a look that they're comfortable with, and then they go and then they sit at maintenance. And then once you get to that body goal that you're looking for, that look or that physique, you just have to reflex your numbers, see what weight you're at right there, and then you go and say, all right, now I just have to eat your normal clean diet at this many calories, and you're going to sustain that weight and that look for the most part with no problem, with nothing but ease, as long as you're staying active. You just want to really maintain getting in at least 10,000 steps. Everyone always says, why? Oh, 10,000 steps, 10,000 steps. It's not about the steps exactly. It's about just staying active and staying moving. When it comes to the cutting phase, especially, a lot of people think that, oh, I got to work out at a higher input, or I got to run 3 to 5 miles or be on the Stairmaster for 60 minutes just in order to get results. No, you just need to stay active, stay moving. You can do low impact stuff. You can do the 12-3-30 method, which is a 12 incline at a 3 speed for 30 minutes. Walk like that and do that type of cardio for a month straight. Watch what it does to your body. On a clean cut, I'll tell you right now, you will get results that you never even thought were possible. I hope you got some value from this. I hope you now understand the difference between cutting and bulking, how to do it, some of the foods that are incorporated and required in order to do this. And I hope that you have an amazing time on your next cut or your next bulk, or you walk into it with a little bit more confidence. So it's your boy JP here at Rooted and Rebuilt Health. See you guys in the next one. And never forget, we're rooted in health, but we're rebuilt with a purpose. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and on top of that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Someone you think that needs help understanding what a cut and what a bulk is. If you feel like they can use this information, share it with them. Sharing is caring. I'll see you guys.